Hi guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Stephen.
And this is Indy Fanatics, your home for IndyCar content with weekly podcasts and feature videos. Welcome back to the channel and to another episode of the IndyCar Podcast. Now, if you've seen by the thumbnail, we're going to be looking at the top 5 teams in IndyCar history. Also, a quick thank you to everyone who watched our 2021 predictions video last week out. That has been, just kind of blew up a little bit. The quickest video we've had, got a kind of a substantial amount of views. So thank you very much for everyone who watched that and who's recently subscribed. Obviously, you're watching this for the first time.
Yeah, welcome, new subscribers.
Exactly, welcome to the show. And if you're new around here again, make sure you do subscribe to the channel for more IndyCar content coming throughout this 2021 season and beyond. There you go, that covers it. But anyway, right, so top 5 teams. But the reason the top 5 teams came about is because there was the sad news last week that at the age of 91, Pat Patrick, a former IndyCar team owner, passed away. Pat was a team owner that during his time in IndyCar had 3 Indy 500 titles and 2 open wheel championship titles to his name. Across the 34 years in the sport, his teams racked up 45 wins, the last of which would be scored by Robert Moreno. Pat had top drivers at his team, including Johnny Rutherford, Gordon Johncock, Mario Andretti and Emerson Fittipaldi, with his titles being secured by Gordon Johncock and Emerson Fittipaldi. Pat was also one of the key figures during the USAC and kart split with Gurney and Penske that helped shape the sport for the next decade. From 1970, with his first entry at Indy, to 2004, where he would put the team up for sale after Al Unser Jr. retired, Pat certainly left his legacy on the sport. So yeah, certainly a guy who loved Indy, the Indy 500, and loved kind of American open wheel racing as well, obviously competing in USAC and kart times across that bridge, and like we said, being influential there. So having won those 3 Indy 500s and 2 championships, we thought this would be a good time and a good topic to kind of look back at the top 5 IndyCar teams. We call them IndyCar, obviously. You could just say top 5 American open wheel championship car teams, but we'll call them IndyCar teams just for a simple purpose. So the top 5 IndyCar teams of all time. Now, usually on a list like this, you would go, from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 upwards. But number 1 is so obvious that I don't think it would be any surprise to anyone go from there. So, and 5th is going to be like a selection.
Yeah. The top 3 are quite easy to place, and then it gets a bit messy after that.
Yeah, so then the last 5, the last position in there, we're going to kind of throw it over to you and who you think deserves that top 5 slot. Or there might be other ones that we didn't mention, and you guys are going to kind of bring them up in the comments down below. So, number 1, no surprise, it is of course Team Penske. With 18 Indy 500 titles, 16 open wheel championship wins, and 217 victories, Penske just
slightly dominated.
Yeah, I mean, they're just the best.
Dominated back to back. It's just dominated consistently over a long period of time.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? 1969, I think, was Roger Penske's first Indy 500. So yeah. Ever since then,
they've basically been at the top or near enough the top.
They've basically built an empire.
Yeah.
Basically.
To the point that now Roger Penske is in charge of IndyCar.
Yeah.
Not, obviously, he's moved away from his team, but
I mean,
yeah.
if Roger Penske applies the same, endeavour and legacy to kind of want to build the IndyCar series up to something great as he did to his teams, then wow, by the time steps away from it, IndyCar should be in a great space.
Yeah,
I think so on that. But yeah, obviously number 1.
Yeah,
in terms of that,
absolutely smashed it.
The second one, not quite as long as legacy within Penske, but has certainly been Penske's main rivals over the past couple of decades.
Yeah.
Fair to say. And that is Chip Ganassi. I think last year they were celebrating 30 years within the sport, having, I believe, Chip Ganassi bought the team full-time in 1990. Well, they have 13 IndyCar open wheel titles to their names, 4 Indy 500s, and 113 race victories. It gets a little bit closer, obviously, that between some of the race victories between 3rd and 4th spot. But with Scott Dixon and Chip Ganassi,
yeah,
6 titles just there. Just incredible.
50 wins.
Yeah, exactly. 50 of those wins. Almost half of those wins have come from Scott Dixon. That's incredible.
But still incredible team effort.
Dario Franchitti as well over it. Dan Weldon.
The main Indy 500 guy.
Yeah, Tony Kanaan didn't win the Indy 500 with them, but he's raced for them. First title was with Jimmy Vasser, I believe. Won Pablo Montoya, won the team's first ever Indy 500 as well. So, look, they're just a team that Chip has made relentless winners. And probably iconically linked with the Target sponsor, I would say, throughout their history. That's been the main link with Chip Ganassi over the year. Only recently, the links with NTT, and then where Scott Dixon's being C-Bank sponsorship, sporting that blue and orange livery that's kind of iconic in these last 2 championships for Scott, certainly. But yeah, I mean, in those 30 years, Chip's made his legacy on the sport.
They've taken it to Penske on several occasions.
Absolutely have. And they still take it to Penske to this day. As long as Scott Dixon and Chip Ganassi are partnered, they will be a force in IndyCar.
Yeah.
I think that's safe to say there. So that is our number 2 spot from there. Number 3 slot is Andretti Autosport. Now, they have 5 Indy 500s to their name and 4 IndyCar championships. And they have 67 wins to their name as well. So, data just coming out. I'm trying to do it off the top of my head, just kind of look in from there. They were started off with Andretti Green. Andretti was racing for... It's difficult, this one, because sometimes you can include... The team started off with Green and Forsyth racing and won the Indy 500 and championship in 1995 with Jacques Villeneuve. But they didn't officially get majority stake until 2003. So that's where I'm counting that. So I'm not going to count the 1995 title in Indy 500.
Just from 03.
Just from 03 onwards. And that's where the victories come from as well.
But in those 17 years, 5 Indy 500 wins and 4 championship wins is pretty darn impressive.
Yeah, and they are up there as well. And the biggest surprise was 2020. They were one of the big teams that just didn't go for it there. It is also a surprise, actually, that it's been since 2014 they had their last championship win. I think they were probably hoping within that time Alexander Rossi may have been able to find championship. He may still do, but I think with Rossi and Herta, you certainly can't count Andretti Autosport out of it, and they are competing up at the top end, and they are still attracting top talent within the sport to drive for them. And, well, their last Indy 500 as well, that rookie win from Alexander Rossi in 2016. Yeah, they are certainly a team that has lived up to the famous Andretti name.
Yeah.
Michael Andretti is doing a very good job, I think, with that team. And also a great team for the grid because they have so many entries. They are the biggest team on the grid. And obviously some of these entries are Andretti Autosport with Herta Motorsport or whatever connections in there. And they've done it, I think, with My Shank Racing previously before. And, you know, other teams, they've worked in some sort of a partnership. So that it's not solely been it, but they've pretty consistently had 3 cars in the sport. And that's pretty incredible. in terms of that. But yeah, Tony Kanaan, I believe, was their first Indy 500 winner and championship winner Well, actually, no, it wouldn't have been Indy 500 winner, but it would have been the first championship winner back in 2004 for the team. So very impressive on that front. I think actually it was Dan Weldon, 2005, on the Indy 500 with them. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. We are learning and getting better at the IndyCar history, but some of the things I go, I'll say that, and then go, did I get that right?
Maybe,
or am I stupid?
Possibly. It's an educated guess.
Somewhat, yeah. Next one up.
We're getting younger and younger. Do we get younger again for number 4?
No, we don't. We go back to the 80s for this one. And that is number 4 coming in, Newman Haas Racing. Sadly, we're a team that folded, I think, in 2011 was their last season with the IndyCar. Really big name within IndyCar because, they were, for us Brits F1 fans, they were the team that provided Nigel Mansell the rookie win in the 1994 season. They also had Mario Andretti race for them, and I believe he was their first title-winning driver back in 1984. They never won the Indy 500, surprisingly, in their time within the sport, but they did rack up 8 titles and 107 victories in their time within it.
That is a lot indeed.
And they were one of the teams, actually, that stuck by car, or as it would evolve into Champ Car, right the way to the end. And Sebastian Bourdais very much took advantage of that, as he's the only driver in IndyCar history with the team to win 4 titles back to back between 2004 and 2007. So, yeah, really impressive. And I think they definitely come into the thing. And I don't know. I don't think they ever would return, but it's sad that they're one of the teams kind of, consigned to IndyCar history.
Yeah, it depends what Gene does in F1.
Well,
maybe I'll make the switch.
No, that's the interesting one. That Haas is completely different.
Oh.
Completely different.
Completely different.
There you go. Completely different. Because Newman Haas actually did have, I think, a little brief spurt in Formula 1, but stuck to IndyCar, certainly on that front. But yeah, I believe it's Carl Haas back. And Gene Haas, but they're different. Yeah, they're not coming different.
Brothers?
No, I don't think they're related at all.
Cousins?
Somewhat. There must be a link. It's such an unusual surname.
Friends?
Unless we...
Surname friends?
No, but they are number 4. They are number 4. But number 5. So it's 5 on 6, depending on which you got. Now, number 5, obviously at the start of this, what kind of inspired us to do top 5 teams within IndyCar was Patrick Racing. Then, the main team, I believe, was from 1970 to 1989-ish, when Emerson Fittipaldi won the Indy 500 and title in the same season with that. But also, he did carry on in some form or others. I think he tried to tackle the Alfa Romeo problem within IndyCar, which didn't really go well. But like I said, continued going on until 2004, when Al Unser Jr. Retired. Pat put the team up for sale. But within that time within the sport, 3 Indy 500s, 2 open wheel championships, very impressive.
Very impressive.
And having guys... and also, it could quite easily have been a 4th Indy 500, because driving for him in 1981 was Mario Andretti, and the Indy 500 victory of Bobby Unser and Mario Andretti, which obviously we covered in our History of IndyCar Part 3, to a little bit. We'll probably cover that story in a little bit more detail, because, basically both men are like, I won.
Yeah.
And within the rules, technically... Mario
both
probably
of them
should have won.
Win at one point.
Yes. So, Bobby won on the day. Mario was then declared victor the next day. And then Bobby, after going through court, was then declared victor again. So I suppose Bobby does come out on top because he was declared victor twice.
There we go.
But yeah, anyway, Mario Andretti raced for Patrick Racing. Johnny Rutherford Gordon John Cock, who was the most successful driver for Patrick Racing with 2 Indy 500s and an USAC title in 1976, and Emerson Fittipaldi, the last guy to bring major success to the team in 1989 before going off and racing full-time with Team Penske as well. And in that 89 season, it was kind of a partnership with Penske as well, with Patrick Racing. But that is your candidate number one.
One, like you said, they also played a big part in the IndyCar Championship as a whole.
Yeah, exactly. Being a key figure in the USAC and kart split.
Yeah.
Number 5 contender 2, shall I put it, is Valphony Jones Racing.
That's a mouthful.
From what my digging is, it was difficult. I couldn't find the number of race wins that they had within the sport. It was difficult working out who was driving for what time. If someone can find that for me, great. And they might put together a thing. But I believe they only raced in IndyCar between 1969 and 1973, I believe, when they decided to venture off into Formula One and then folded, I think, in Formula One in 1976. So a really short-lived team.
Yeah.
But within that time, so first season, remember, 1969. 1970, they won the Indy 500 and Indy Championship with Al Unser.
Totally.
And by when I say Al Unser won, like he blitzed it. Like the point system was still, I think, on the obviously it's USAC, so it was like the old miles, points awarded per miles race type of victory. So he had like 5,000 points, and second place was 2,000. So that was absolutely blitzed it. Al Unser then won the Indy 500 again in 1971, and his teammate won the championship.
So back-to-back 500s and championships.
Correct. And in 1972, they also won the championship. So
3 back-to-back championships and 2
Indy 500s. Yeah.
In 4
and then
years.
they went off to Formula One as VPJ with Mario Andretti.
Yeah.
Who at that time was an Indy 500 winner and I think 3-time champion himself. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of crazy because can you put them as one of the top 5 teams of all time because they had such a short space? But within that space, they absolutely killed it.
Yeah. Why did they leave?
They did. Exactly. Well, I suppose they were like, we're too good for IndyCar. Let's go
this is easy.
Let's go Formula One, and then folded.
Let's go Formula One. Oh, we haven't got any money left.
But yeah, that's like a 30-year history of a team, like in the space of like 6 years.
Yeah.
It's mental. So I feel like they had to be a candidate in there as well. And like I said, if there are other top teams that you'd like to throw into the mix, in terms of most successful IndyCar teams of all time, we have mainly based it. You might have a top team in IndyCar that may not have the 500s or the championships to back them up, but you might put a good case. We'll look forward to hearing that in the comments below. But yeah, we stuck to it pretty much as, like I said, we're always open to you. We're new Indy fans. We're learning all the time. We're enjoying this with you guys, and we absolutely love the series. So it's easier for us to kind of stick to the stats on this one. Because, I mean, I don't think anyone's ever going to dispute Team Penske coming in at number 1. But, you know, it's easier to sit with stats because we can't go, oh, yeah, but I remember so-and-so because we weren't watching it in the 1980s. So, yeah. I mean, neither of us were alive, so that's yes. An easy one. But, yeah, that was almost like a golden era of IndyCar as well. But, yes, that is it. That is it.
That is it.
That is it.
That is it.
That is it. That's our top 5. So let us know in the comments.
Top 5 / top 6. You can decide who comes in 5.
Yeah. So there was only one piece of news, wasn't there, Stephen?
Yes.
And that was
yes, St. Petersburg being moved to the. I nearly forgot.
If people watch, that's a guy. Their minds just operate going, wait for the cogs to turn, wait for the cogs.
I need to get the message in my ear. It's our producer.
Oh, that's it. That's what it was.
Yes, St. Petersburg moved to, I want to say August?
No, it moved to the second race of the season.
No, what did move to August? Something.
You're talking about Long Beach. We did cover that a couple of weeks ago. That's the season
This is
finale.
a train wreck of a news.
Oh my God, it's falling apart.
St. Petersburg. Okay, so basically, St. Petersburg was meant to be the opening race. Then there was a month to Barber, and then from Barber there was a month to
Texas, I believe it was.
Texas. So basically, rather than having 2 months with 2 races, they've gone, let's just scrap the first month, chuck St. Petersburg in between Barber and Texas, and then happy days.
There we
Lots
go.
more IndyCar races in time.
Congratulations, you got there.
This will be the first time Barber opens the IndyCar season.
Yeah, and quite a recent track. Only opened in 2003, been a part of the IndyCar calendar since 2010. If you follow us on Instagram, you would have seen that post that we sent out on Monday. You can go and check that out on the Indy Fanatics Instagram. Anyway, there's a link to our Instagram page in the description down below if you don't already follow us there.
To summarise it, Team Penske will be happy.
Yeah.
It's a Team Penske stronghold.
Basically.
Yeah.
There are basically ever been 3 races there that haven't been won by Team Penske.
Yeah.
Which they literally have won double anyone else has won.
Yeah.
With 6. But it's going to be interesting. Obviously, it's frustrating because you have to wait that little bit longer for the IndyCar season. It's not in March. I believe COVID was still a little bit at play, but I don't know whether the situation with COVID has changed drastically in Florida to when we got the season finale on in St. Pete. But I think as it was a season finale and getting the race on, they may have made a few more allowances. As it's a season opener, they could have gone, well, we can afford to push it back a little bit. And also, logistically, makes sense to build up hype. Because if you've got long gaps between IndyCar races, like you said,
You can forget about it.
It's a struggle to build up hype. I mean, we won't forget about it.
Exactly.
We'll be here every week for you guys, but you might forget about it. But don't forget about IndyCar because it's great. But that's it from us. Wow.
We did it.
We hope you've enjoyed the top 5. That has been a struggle for us today. It's our top 5 /6 that the top 5 was finalised by you guys. Because interactive, we want to give you guys a chance, not just us. We're not dictators. This is a democracy here at Indy Fanatics. Oh my God, what are we going on? But yeah, right, let's end this. Comment down below with your top 5. If you have any differences, we'd change the order slightly. Who would you pick in that 5th spot? Would it be VPJ or Patrick or Patrick Racing? Or would you vote for someone else in that? We'd be fascinated to hear you guys on that front. And if they're new around here or haven't done so already and they've enjoyed this car crash of an episode, Stephen, what can they do?
You can like, subscribe and ding that bell.
Dig it! So for now, you Indy fans, keep racing!